Today's video is going to be rewriting equations as slope-intercept form. And as I said in our last video, here's slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. M is slope, and b is your y-intercept, or where your line crosses the y-axis. So we're going to be rewriting equations into this form. This is the form that's easiest to just look at and immediately know slope and where it crosses the y-axis, obviously. There are a couple of different forms of lines that you can graph, but this one happens to just be the most common. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually solving the equation for y. So we're going to be moving everything over to one side of the equal sign except the y value. And then we're going to just solve it like in order of operations in reverse, like we always have done as far as solving equations. So let's start with this one. So here's y equals mx plus b. That's how we want to get it. I'm going to draw my line down my equal sign, and then I'm going to start moving everything over to the other side. Remember, y is what I want to have by itself. So I'm going to move my 3x over. And then I'm going to bring down my 5y is equal to 15 minus 3x. And now I have a 5 in front of my y, and my y needs to be all by itself. So I have to divide that 5 away. And when I do that, I have to divide it by everything on the other side. Not just one thing, but everything. So the way it ends up looking is I have y equals, well, 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then I'm going to keep this as a negative 3/5 x, because remember, we always keep slope in fraction form. Well, now it's just opposite because my mx needs to come first. So I'm just going to switch some stuff around. So I have y equals, and when I switch it, I'm going to take this whole thing, not just the 3/5 x. I have to take the sign with it. So it's going to become a negative 3/5 x plus 5. Here we have this again. Draw the line. This is what I want to get by itself. So I'm going to subtract 6x. And I put it up next to the 18 because I cannot combine those two things because one has an x and one doesn't. So I'm just going to put it up like that so I don't have that temptation to try and subtract my 6x from 18. And then I'm just going to divide this by 9. I'm going to divide everything by 9. That cancels out, and I'm left with y equals 2 minus 6/9 x. And when I move it, I'm going to move everything. So I'm going to move the negative sign goes with it. So I end up with y equals negative 6/9 x plus 2. I have to reduce this down, because remember, your slope should always be reduced down as far as it can go. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. And now when I look at this, I know a couple of things about it. It's a negatively sloped line. In other words, decreases from left to right. Its slope is 2/3, and it crosses the y-axis at 2. So here, let's try again. Divide this down the middle, so to speak. This is what I'm trying to get by itself. I'm going to subtract 7x and put it up here so I don't have that temptation to try and combine it, because it cannot be combined. That's a negative 5y. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 5. Not just 5, but negative 5. They cancel out, and I'm left with y equals 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. And then these are going to cancel each other out. So I'm actually going to be left with plus 7/5 x. So when I switch it all around, remember, I want to take all of this, sign and everything. So I have y equals 7/5 x minus 5. One last time here. Divide it down the middle. This is what I'm trying to get by itself. I'm going to add 4x. I'm going to put it up here so I don't combine it when I don't want to. Negative 3y equals 12 plus 4x. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3, everything by negative 3. Cancels out. And I have y equals, well, 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. And then you'll notice I've got these two signs. I have a positive and a negative. So which one's more powerful? It is the negative 4/3 x. And now again, I'm going to rewrite it and make sure that everything comes to the front. So y equals negative 4/3 x minus 4.